Hello, all. Dana Dubois here from I Write Out Loud, along with Kira the Wonder Dog, who's always here for my lives, ready to get Nature Naws. One day, Nature Naws is going to sponsor I Write Out Loud because they are the best treat in the world. I'm going to give this to Kira. Here you go, sweetie. Y'all, I'm sorry I'm late and I have a wet head. Like, look at my hair. You are getting you are just getting a slice of very real life of me. And I am going to hit refresh on all the places where this is streaming through StreamYard just to make sure everything is going. I can see YouTube. We're up. I always do Facebook last because Facebook is the slow. Or sorry, I always do stream Substack last because Substack is the slowest. Clearly, I need to have my vocabulary turned on. Okay, there I am on Facebook Live where no one ever sees it. And that's cool. I don't even know why I bother. So we're going to come over here to Substack and hope everything is connected. I hate that all of my lives, I hate that they all start this way, but this is what we need to do. And there we are. Hi, Amy. Hi, Anne. I'm going to say hello here, just like that. And today I'm doing something a little different. I'm testing because I know it does not look like it worked. I tried to send the Daily Whatever show live with this. Oh, you know what oh no, it says the Daily Whatever show is live. Could have fooled me though. All right, I don't know what I did, but that's okay. We'll test that another day. I always struggle with where the Daily Whatever show ends and where I Write Out Loud begins. I mean, they're pretty clearly different, but when I go live like this, should I invite the Daily Whatever show? Because, people over there kind of know me. I know a lot of the people. They may want to know about both things happening, but looks like today is not the day when we will be testing that. So to everyone who's here, welcome. If you all wouldn't mind clicking that little heart button, because that signals to Substack that something cool is going on and that everyone should come join it. I am still, oh, you know what it is? It's not the Daily Whatever show. It's the Daily Whatever show's YouTube page. That's what I invited. Let me just try one thing here. Yeah, I didn't set that up right. Okay, next time. You may notice that even though it's summertime, I am wearing a hoodie. I am wearing my Eras Tour hoodie that I never wear because this did not make it into either of the Taylor Swift essays I wrote, the first one of which is the essay we'll be talking about today. But at the Munich show where my daughters and I went, of course, we knew nothing about Germany and we don't speak German. We don't know the rules of engagement there, but it was held in this beautiful park. It was their Olympic stadium. It's literally called like Olympic Stadium or something. I don't speak German, but it's in the article we'll be talking about today. But all of the merch was in a separate, like smaller stadium. And you had to like go there beforehand to get it. And we didn't do that. And after the show, we were way too spent because it was a very long day. And so I ordered the merch online, the European merch. And I didn't know what size to order. And I got this, and I'm going to just pull back here a little bit and stand up. So I don't know if you can tell like how huge it is, but it's very huge. So it's cute, but I have never worn it because I'm swimming in it. I'm also very warm. So we'll see how long I last in the Taylor hoodie. But I did want to be, and one part of the reason I'm late is I was rummaging to find some of the t-shirt merch. And I just opened this. That was a loud noise. I couldn't find any of the t-shirt merch. So I'm sweltering a little in this, but what the things I will do to stay on theme, you guys, this is the stuff that I will do. It is warm, Karen. Thank you for noticing. So I am delighted that you are here. For those of you who don't know what this is or who I am Dana Dubois, and my publication is called I Write Out Loud. It is my home for creative nonfiction here on Substack. And every Monday, I post a new personal essay. And then Wednesdays, I have a big public live like this one to talk about it. On Sundays, I host Sunday Salon, which is a more intimate gathering space for paid subscribers where we do more kind of behind the scenes. I spill a bit more tea about the essays and themes of the week. But that's the typical calendar here at I Write Out Loud. And um, it's it's been a great delight bringing everything to life here. I've been at this since early February, so not very long. It's still a pretty new publication, and I'm still in the throes of my kind of what is my message, what distinguishes me from other writers. And I think the big part is that I use memoir and lived experience to speak to broader cultural, political truths. That seems to be the common theme that runs through my work. And I'm really excited to talk to you about this essay today. And I'm really excited you are all here. If you are not already a subscriber to I Write Out Loud, please click that button and subscribe. It's called Dana Dubois Writes because I can't change the name because Substack is weird like that. Um, but that is me. Would love to have you on board as a subscriber. Would extra love to have you on board as a paid subscriber. I know times are tough for all of us right now. But if you appreciate the work that I do and would like to support the work here at a deeper level, if you would like to get access to the Sunday Salon and to the other paid subscriber features to come, which I think I'm going to talk about a little at the end of this live, I would love to have you on board. So I have to do my little pitch. In fact, while we're here, let me just go grab the link for subscribing, and I will pop it in the chat. I try to make a point at the start and the end, but the reminder that for creative types, we can make it look effortless and it is joyous, but it is also the way in which we support ourselves. So it's always important to speak to the value of your work. And if you are able to support it, creators like me are always super grateful. So that spiel is out of the way. Did you see how I just went into a little Yiddish German there with spiel? Um, we're going to be talking about Germany and being Jewish quite a bit today. Sorry, my glasses are like, I think they're getting steamy because I got out of the shower about 15 minutes before we went live, hence the wet hair. This week I worked from home today and I was like, this is going to be great. I'm going to have plenty of time for my live. And then in typical Substack always has a surprise in store. There was an essay I submitted to Blue Amp that I thought was going live tomorrow, and it went live about an hour before, hour and a half ago, let's say. And it's an amazing essay. I cannot wait to talk about it with you all. But I want to talk about this one first. But I've been up there answering comments and things, so I got in the shower a bit late. So my apologies. You see a fluffy butt. Yep, Kira's right there. Say hi, Kira. Hi, you know I'm talking to you. Would you like? We'll give her another one. I hate to do this, but I think I have to take the sweatshirt off because I am like sweltering. It's not super warm here in Seattle, but it's warm enough. And this is like a crazy thick sweatshirt. And oh, I don't like wearing it even when I am um, cold because it's way too much fabric for me. Okay, gonna do this again. Phew, sorry, I keep playing with the wet hair. Okay, we're gonna settle in now. So, yeah, I did have my Taylor Swift hoodie on. I really should have prepared sooner. Maybe on Sunday I'll come more prepared in a Taylor Swift t-shirt that is not quite so roasting hot, but that was too much. Oh, and this t-shirt's a little sheer, so you're welcome. we're just gonna rock that. Okay. I think we've got enough folks here. We are going to get going. It looks like a cuddle with a book sweatshirt. You know, it would be if A of all, I had time to read books, which tragically I do not these days. And B of all, if it were like crazy, crazy, crazy cold. It's just too much, it's too much fabric and it's too warm. I'm menopausal. I run warm. It's one of the really nice things about being menopausal. And I think this might be a theme of a forthcoming future essay. I really like the title of like, hey ladies, psst, like menopause is awesome. Not going through it, not the perimenopause part, but once you're done, I think it's kind of awesome, especially with HRT in the equation. So one of the benefits is I'm not always cold like I used to be. Now I'm like, I'm good. I don't need that big hoodie. Okay, let's jump into today's essay. I'm going to grab the link, or Karen, do you have the link handy? I know you had said before the show that you might, but no worries if you do not. I don't mind. We can race. We can race to see who gets it faster. Oh, Karen got it right there. Oh, and thank you. You put the whole title and subhead. I appreciate it. I grabbed it too. So just for fun, I will put it in there as well. So it's funny. In general, in life and as a creator, I am multi hyphenate, right? I have a ton of interests and a ton of topics that I'm always wanting to talk about. Amusingly, this essay is about so many things. So it's not like I'm coming forward and being like, I have a Taylor Swift essay for all of you. I do have an actual review of this show. The anniversary of it is July 28th. So I think I'm going to post it closer, like toward the end of the month. I did intentionally choose this week to post this essay for a few reasons. And the first of which is Taylor and Travis are apparently getting married this weekend at Madison Square Garden. So I'm happy for her. I adore Taylor Swift. I wish her nothing but happiness. Seems an odd choice, holiday weekend at Madison Square Garden. Let's see how it all rolls out. But I thought it would be a nice idea to make it a little timely and newsly to talk about Taylor now. But this story is not really about Taylor Swift. It is about going to see Taylor Swift. It's about traveling with my teens to Europe for the first time. So it's a travel essay. It is a parenting essay. It is a bit of a history essay about German history. It's an essay about identity, specifically my Jewish identity. And it's about healing generational trauma. So this essay is a lot. And I think you all know I've written hundreds of essays, I think, at this point, in the 3.5 or so years I've been writing online. This is my favorite one. I reserve the right to change my mind on that, but I do believe this is my favorite one. I I love the way that this essay incorporates so many different ideas and weaves them all together. And I also love the origin story of this essay. I wanna talk about that first. And hi, Martin. I see you're saying hello to me. Oh, your mind matters. I'm so interested. My father and grandparents, as well as extended family, escaped the Nazi Germany. Wow. Well, I'm glad you're here. Your mind matters. So my family connection to the Holocaust is slightly more removed. So I am Gen X and I am Jewish. And even though I'm utterly non-practicing, my great grandparents immigrated to the US. They went through Ellis Island in like the 19 teens, 1920s. So my direct family line was all in the US ahead of Hitler and his rise to power. Thank goodness. My extended family, I think all those limbs are hacked off. I don't know who they are. I remember very little. My grandfather talked a little before he died. He told me some story about some relation who, like, they were sent to the concentration camps, but they had jewelry, they had diamonds, and I think I'm remembering this right, that he like stored them in his testicles so that no one would find them when he got sent into the camps, and then bribed his way out and made his way back to wherever he was from and knew the family that would be willing to hide him. And he went there, and his sons had already moved to the US, and one of them was in the military and actually liberated at the end of the war, actually liberated his father. Like he also knew the one family that would have housed his father, and he went to their house and liberated his father. It has to be true because I have it all here, but it's like blurry. I don't have it written down anywhere. And so yeah, it's a little bit like that's the only lore I know about my family, and I'm not even 100% sure that it's true, but I believe it is. That said, most of what I know is that those limbs were cut off. And so, sorry, I've got a Kira freaking out in the background. I'm not sure why, but what's going on? Okay, we're going to give her one more treat because this is a heavy topic. Martin, you're saying maybe ask a family member. I wouldn't even really know who to ask. So, like, my grandparents are long gone, and I don't think my mom would know any more than I would know. So, yeah, he's sewing jewels into clothing seams with testicles. Yikes. Yeah, I hope I'm not making that up, but I very vividly remember my grandfather saying that and being like, wow, I had no idea that that's in my family history, but I don't know where those limbs of the tree go. I only know the direct line, and I don't even really speak to a lot of members of my family, which might be an essay for another day. But here's the story as this one goes. And important context to bring into it is what I lead with in this essay, which is I am completely Jewish. And it's a very weird thing that Judaism is both a religion and an ethnicity in a way, right? I was raised Jewish, Reform, so it was Reform is kind of the least religious of the branches. You can be Reform, Conservative, Orthodox, Hasidic. We were Reform. Nobody kept kosher. They have like Easter, Christmas Christians. We were like a bar mitzvahs and Rosh Hashanah Jews. So that's about the equivalent. But they identify as Jewish, and I was raised in a very Jewish area, as was Lawrence in South Florida. So I got bat mitzvahed. I was kind of into that at the time. But then by the time I was a late teenager in college, I very much was like, I don't give a shit about it. I actually hated religion back then. It made me angry. The harm it was doing was very clear to me. And I just, like most things, I'm not nationalistic. I'm not into sports teams. I was like, why should I take pride in something I have no control over? If I had been adopted by another family, I would be Christian or Muslim or Hindu or who knows. Like it all seemed very arbitrary to me and nothing that would be a source of pride. And so the first time I went to Europe was with my best friend who, not Lawrence, but Denise, who was the third member of our triumvirate in high school. So the two of us trained around Europe for a month. And when we got to Germany, what we realized was like, wow, we may not identify as Jewish, but when we're here, we're triggered like Jews. The police sirens were really like, we'd look at each other and just flinch. And the trains, like the old train stations, we'd look at each other and just be like, whoa. So it's a very strange thing to be indoctrinated, to be instilled at a young age with something and have it just, it sticks, right? So I have a line in the story that I'm really proud of. It's like, you can't choose not to be chosen, right? So chosen with a capital C, like the Jews are chosen. So this essay, it takes place now. It also takes place, it talks back to the time when Denise and I were there in the 90s as well. You're a boomer, great. All generations are welcome here. I think though, as a boomer, your mind matters that you have a more immediate connection. So my parents were born in 44 and 47. So I guess that makes my dad like the very end of is that the silent generation? But my mom is a very early baby boomer because 47 would have been right after the war. So um, they grew up right in the shadow of the Holocaust, right? They were babies or not born yet when it was happening, but the immediate after effect in the Jewish community was reeling from it. And so never forget, never forget. It was just drilled into my head in Hebrew school and at home. And I rejected it as I came of age. And then I went to Europe in my mid 20s and was like, oh, like Denise and I felt it pretty profoundly when we were there that, like, if the timing had been different or the situations had been different, this would have been us. Or um, we wouldn't be here at all, right? If someone in my family line hadn't moved, that I wouldn't exist. You know, the whole butterfly effect. But this one is very dramatic because 6 million people are gone. Mm. So you're generationally fluid, Karen. I love that. Yeah, can you identify as different generations? I'd like to think that you can. Um, wow, your grandparents were born in 1882. And your father was born in 1921, so as a young child, he had to be in the Hitler Youth. Oh, I'm so sorry. So I do want to mention, because I think this is really important context, that this happened in 2024. The summer of 2024 is when this story took place. The world has changed so much since then, because it was before the second Trump election, right? And that colors everything. Tomorrow morning, Lawrence and I are going to do a special daily whatever show. You know, we're on summer vacation right now. We're only broadcasting on Fridays, except this week. We were live yesterday with Nick Perro with a very important issue he brought to us. And then we're both going live tomorrow because both of us have stories to tell right now where the common theme is us having a reckoning with our Jewish selves and what it means to be Jewish in 2026, even as like reluctantly Jewish as we've been our whole lives. What does that mean in this world where Israel is committing these heinous acts and there's so much anti-Semitism on the rise, and the line between Jew and Zionist and terrorist has blurred to the point where nuance is really being lost. And we are now writing these essays where we are trying to clarify and carve out space for what it means to be Jewish but American and not Israeli, and kind of all of these current and forward-looking topics. And I would love for you all to join us tomorrow. That'll be at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. This essay is more of a reckoning looking back, and it's 2024, so it makes sense. There were people refused into the US because they were Jewish. Oh, I did not know that. Okay, so let's return a bit more to the essay. And I have some notes here. So I want to make sure I have these so I don't lose track. You know, I tend to ramble. So I want to touch on how this essay was crafted, because I kind of love the creator story of this. Hands up in the chat. Let me come back over here. How many or put a 1 in the chat if you are also a writer, especially if you write like memoir style content. And I'll wait to see if the ones are coming in. I'm just curious because I find process really interesting as a writer. So, oh, I see a 1, another 1. Oh, hi, Amy. I'm glad to see you here. So the process for this. So this trip that my kids and I took, they had never been to Europe. I could not get tickets to Taylor Swift in North America. I tried Seattle, I tried Vancouver, I tried Miami. I got robbed of $500 in a very crafty internet scheme for the Indianapolis show that went through my kids' elementary school's Facebook page of all things. I'm still bitter about that. But I did so I had kind of resigned myself that we weren't going to go. But my youngest, especially at the time, was such a huge Taylor Swift fan, and you know how much I love music. And I I found myself being like, I'm the mom who always gets tickets and has these experiences. And this is the unquestionably the peak artist of their generation. Well, not that they're the same generation of Taylor Swift, but of their coming of age. And she's unquestionably at the pinnacle of her career, right? This is her eras tour. She's explicitly touring all the eras of her career. I I want to see this and I want my children to experience this. So I started looking at all the European tour dates. I nearly bought for the Vienna show. Do you remember the Vienna shows that there was a terrorist threat and they ended up canceling them? It was either going to be Vienna, Warsaw, or Munich. And I'm very glad I picked Munich and not Vienna. So, and it was also a good excuse. We had planned to go to Germany. One of my very best friends, Sandra, she is my birthday twin. She's 4 days older than I am. And our birthdays are in July. So happy July. It's our birthday month, not till the end. But um, she lives in Berlin and we were supposed to get together for our 50th birthdays and she comes here to Seattle quite often in July for our birthdays. But for our 50th, I was like, we're coming to you. But that was 2020. It was the COVID year. So it didn't happen. And I was like, all right, we're turning 54 this year. It's time to make up for lost time. We're going to go to Europe, and Taylor Swift is the excuse. So we flew over and went to Munich first, and then Prague, and then Berlin to meet up with my friend and her daughter. And then we went to the Netherlands together. So we we stayed in Munich for a few days, went to the show. The next morning, got on the train to a very hot, slow train to Prague, and then on a much more modern train from Prague to Berlin. The idea for this essay kept coming to me and coming at me, and I was like, I have to capture these thoughts while they're and these feelings while they're coming at me. And so I started typing on the train. I don't remember how long it was. Maybe it was like 3 hours, but I got a lot of the bones of this down. And then the um the the bulk of it, the rest, the perfecting and crafting of it all happened until like 2 or 3 in the morning in my friend's apartment in Berlin. And I was like, it's done. I'm sending it off. So I very much created it within days of living it, which is not typically how I write. And I absolutely love how it came out. And in writing it, I was able to process what I had lived through over those days in Munich. And they were wonderful days. It's not like I lived through some tragedy. I don't mean it like that. So um, let me come back here to my notes. So I start this essay off taking like an ancestry.com test because I don't want to be Jewish. I figured like 6,000 years of history, someone fucked somebody else, right? Like whether it was an illicit affair or someone was pillaged during war. Like, surely I'm not all Jewish. There's lots of redheads and blondes in my family. I talk about how a dermatologist saw my eyes, which are green, and the freckles, and was like, well, you look Celtic. And I was like, there are not Celtic Jews. But I was like, well, at least I'll know what country I'm from. I really want to go back to Europe and go see the country where my people are from because I have no ties like that. And that damn test just came back and was like, Ashkenazic Jew, we don't know anything else about you. The diaspora is too small. And the borders moved so much. Though I do know that on my mother's side, we're from Minsk and Pinsk, which I believe, like Julie Roginski joked, all Jews are from there. It was Russia and Poland back then. It's now Belarus. So that's part of my ancestry, but it was disappointing to not be able to figure out where I was, who I was. And then I had kids, of course, and I didn't raise them Jewish, but they are Jewish because it is matrilineal. If my children want to go to Israel and claim citizenship, there's din, even though they don't know shit about Judaism. because they weren't raised that way intentionally. But what one of the big revelations of this trip was when I went with my best friend in the 90s and things would happen, like we would see these old train tracks and we would hear the sirens. Like we grew up watching the same Holocaust movies. And so we could look at each other and we were like, are you kind of freaked out by this? I'm kind of freaked out by this. And we mutually had that lived experience. We went to Dachau together and it was bleak and terrifying and like we were sort of gutted by the experience, right? And I'm going to stay on this part of the story. So, one of the people who we knew when we went, actually, like the only person we know when we went over to Europe, was an old boyfriend of mine who was German. His name is Frank. He's a delightful guy. I have an essay about him. I'll have to share that maybe this summer because it's kind of a the theme was summer love. Uh, Love story from my 20s when he was living in the US. We met at a goth nightclub at 1 a.m. It's very romantic. But he was back in Germany and we visited with him. And when we were further north in Köln, we went to the Kölner Dome, which is this beautiful church with a big dome on top. And you can climb up to the top, and we did. And then we came down, and it's in a Platz, what do you call it, like a plaza. And in the postcard shop, because this was the 90s and there were still lots of postcards around, there was a photograph from the war, and it was a picture of a tank in the middle of the same plaza that we were standing in, an American tank. And Frank, who was kind and gentle and all these wonderful things, still turned to Denise and me and was like, look what you Americans did. Like almost the whole plaza was decimated in this photograph. And 20-something-year-old Dana didn't didn't answer him. It was just, I was overloaded by it. I still can get kind of overloaded and take too much time to respond. But I feel certain that 50-something Dana would have fired back my thoughts that I was able to articulate to Denise later of like, are you really telling two Jewish women that the American tank shouldn't have been there because your pretty buildings got harmed when we have no family trees here? Like, you were out of control, Germany. We had to move in and do something. So at the time in the 90s, we were both a bit haunted by stories like this and stories like we would see, older German people, and they were lovely. They were very nice to us, but we were like, what were you doing back in the 40s? Because, back then, 70-year-olds were in their 20s during the war. And and going to Dachau and seeing, I don't know if you all have been there, but the concentration camp is in the middle of just a city, like a town. And there's no way they didn't know what was happening there. There was a crematorium going around the clock. But they claimed sort of like, well, we didn't know. And Dana in the 90s was all through growing up and in the 90s and on for many years was like, how could they have let this happen? And I will say, living in the US now, I completely see how it happened because it's happening not at the same level, but it is starting now here. And the powerlessness of it is, I get it now. And so this essay gets into the idea where I'm heading, which is so that was the 90s. I went back in 2024 with my kids decades later, and we revisited some of the same spots. We were in Munich, so we did go to Dachau. But my kids didn't have the cultural touch points that Denise and I had by design because I did not indoctrinate them intentionally. And so it was really interesting for me to be there as a kind of, would you say I was first generation post or second generation post? I guess my parents were first generation post the war, but immediately in the shadow of it, where I was a generation removed from that, but still indoctrinated. And because I had them so late, my kids, they're almost 2 generations past me, right? Depending how long you say a generation lasts. So to them, it's very ancient history and nothing that they know much about or can relate to. And so it was a net neutral for them, where to me, there were ghosts everywhere. And I'm realizing I've been monologuing for quite some time. So I'm going to come over here and take a look at the chat, because I would love to hear. Um, I would love to hear from all of you. Oh my gosh, you're going on about my astrology, Karen. Thank you for putting that in here. I'm not sure why we were talking about it, but you know, that's all good. So let me see here. Okay, you put my birthday in here. You can all send gifts. I'm kidding, but I am a Leo. I'm very into birthdays. Let's see here. Okay, we got some family histories here. Oh, I couldn't get myself to go to Dachau with my redheaded Jewish friend and coworker. I could feel the dread. I can understand why. It is a really hard place to go. I mean, so this essay, in the course of this essay, we go to Dachau, and I have photos in there of my kids in the crematorium that you could actually go in it, and you walk through this passageway where you there's like the entrance room, the disrobing room, the shower room where the shower heads are still there, but they were actually they release gas and not water. And then the next room was where they stored the bodies, and the room after that was where they burned them. It's very efficient. It's very small, and it's mobbed with people, of course. And it was like strangely, it was the only place that was sort of cool. It was like blazing hot when we went to Dachau, and it's all outside mostly, and just blinding sun on the white rocks. But the crematorium is concrete, so it was very cool in there. Or maybe it was just like the chilled blood in my coursing through my body as we walked through. But it was intense, and it was really intense to be there with my kids. In the essay, I described sort of seeing, the trains behind them. I describe being on the train and being jostled and hot and crowded, and I'm like, oh my god, my kids don't have any problems, and neither do I, but I can like feel the echoes of what parents must have felt like crammed into these trains with their kids, not knowing where they were going, if they could protect them. And like I just kept having these maternal flashes throughout the trip. But where it gets interesting, I think, is where it starts weaving into the kindness experience next, of like, even as I'm being triggered by all these little signals, the Germans around us are being wonderful. And there's a lot of funny slice of life moments in there when we're shopping for earplugs, and my daughter finds vibrators at the at the drugstore, and the people who help us find what we need there, find where we're going. Um, the people who are in line with us when we had to queue for hours to get into the stadium in the middle of this park, they shared their snacks with us. The kids were all trading the friendship bracelets. Like, people could not have been more wonderful in Germany as we were making our way around. Um, then it gets into the show. And when I bought tickets, the way the stadium worked, it was there's a field, and then there were the stands. Most of the tickets in the stands were sold out, and they were a lot more money to be way up at the top of the stands. I bought tickets, 3 tickets for us in the front left quadrant of the floor. So it was general admission in the front half left side of the stage. So there we were. We needed to get in and figure our way in there. And everything in the line was pretty orderly. It was great. Then we finally, hours and hours later, get into the stadium. And it is like, when I think of Germans, I think of like, well, we all there, I don't want to do the German accent. That's mean, although I do love a German accent. It's, I think, like a lot of rigor and order and engineering. And we get in there and it is complete fucking chaos. I have never experienced a show like this, where I am literally terrified my kids are going to get swept off in this crowd. Like, I am gripping them like they're toddlers. And at this point, my brain, that's already been triggered so many times over the last few days, is just like, oh my God, if we get separated, I don't know how I would find them. They could not get into the show. Only I have the digital tickets. I don't think our cell phones are going to work in here right now because there were so many people, and I have no idea where we're supposed to go to get down there. And we kept, there were these sort of mobs of people, of queues to get in, and it was crazy that I had to sort of, and my little one is very tiny and hates crowds and noise. So this was already a stretch for her. She just loves Taylor so much she's willing to do it, but she is just ashen. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to get us to safety. I have to get us where we're going. And the parallels, even though of course it's not the same thing. We're heading to a concert, not a concentration camp, which I say in the story, but this feeling of like, I have to protect my kids from this mob of Germans was a very strange feeling. I'm going to pause there and go see if there are any comments. Let me see that here. Does anyone remember The Summer of My German Soldier with Christy McNichol? I do not. Oh, the memorial in Berlin is intense and it's beautiful, isn't it, Jason? I saw that this last trip we went there and it was gorgeous. I'm not sure I could go to a concentration camp because I feel things. Yeah, you cannot help but feel things. I could not walk inside. I don't blame you. I had that experience in Poland, a small camp, but it had the shower and the oven. Yeah, it's fucking haunting. If you read the here, I'm going to put a link to the essay in again because I don't think I've put it in a while. I'm not sure if Karen has. Uh-oh, where did my essay go? That's the live. I have too many windows open, you guys. And okay. Oops. One moment, please. Okay, this is, hold on. I'm trying to just type in the title and it's giving me the Medium version. Aside to all of you, why does Medium have such better SEO relevance than Substack? I will never understand. I find it really frustrating because, yeah, I don't get it. All right. There is the link to the story. If you go, oh, thank you, Karen. You just put the link in. So there are photos in here, and you can see there's a photo of my younger child walking from the room where they disrobed into the shower room, and it has the German word for shower right above her. It starts with a B. It is hold on, I don't speak German, but I'm going to give it a try here. Brausebad. I don't know if I said that right, but and you can see her little head with the ponytail, and you can see the shower heads. They're just circles in the ceiling now, but the room is so small and it's so haunting. So all these memories are with me as we're entering Taylor Swift. We finally get in though. And this did not make the essay, but this a funny aside is there was I have never seen a stadium this poorly engineered before, which is shocking in Germany. But we did not eat or use the restroom this entire time because I tried before the show. We went up there and it was like the women's bathroom had at 80 to 100 people in like just a mob around it. There was no line. And you had to go down an elevator to get to there was no way. So I don't think my child ate or drank anything for 14 hours. Luckily, we had all the adrenaline on our side, but holy cow, it was crazy. But we get down on the field and we're early-ish. We're not really, it's like halfway filled or more. And we're trying to find a spot to stand where we'll be able to see. And the opening band was Paramore, who were fine. She has a great voice. I'm not a huge fan, but it was fine. But it was tragic because my older daughter and I could see okay, but my younger daughter couldn't see a thing. And she was practically in tears the whole show. And I was like, oh my God, did we fly all the way here and go through all of this effort for her not to be able to see Taylor? And my mom brain is, of course, like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And so where we were, there was like a tower that held lights pointing at the stage. And so we walked up to the base of the tower, and there was like a little retaining wall about this tall. And there was a mom and a daughter sitting there in between the shows. And the girl looked at my daughter and asked, "Oh, do you want to trade bracelets?" Which, of course, they did, because that's what you do at a Taylor Swift show. And I looked at the mom, and she was very German and she seemed very nice. She spoke English, because most Germans do. At least like my Gen X and younger, they do. The older Germans, not as much. But she asked something, and I was like, "Oh, she's been really upset because she's so tiny and she can't see. Do you think it would be possible for her to stand next to your daughter?" Because there was all this like space where the tower was, and it created a line of sight to the stage. It was slightly obstructed with the bars of the tower, but they weren't very wide. And she looked at me and in her very German way said, "Yes, I think this will be possible." And it was possible. The show started, and Taylor always has a countdown timer for the final few minutes. And there was a Lady Gaga song, I can't remember which one. And then, but right before the final countdown always comes with Leslie Gore's "You Don't Own Me," which I love. And my daughters like were very into the lore. So they knew that meant it was about to start. And my younger one turned to me and just like with this like happiest look on her face and was like, "Thank you for bringing us here. I'm so happy right now." And I'm feeling a little choked up. It was like all of this was worth it. And so in the end, we had the kindness of yet another German stranger to thank for us having these wonderful, well, they weren't seats, this wonderful stand, these wonderful places to have a look at the stage. And she had this whole like runway thing to the side. And, Taylor had a big screen we would have seen no matter what. But there is something magical about being at a show and being like, she wasn't that big because we were far enough back, but it was like, that's actually her right there. And I feel like a screen detaches you from that experience. So it felt, we were all caught up in the crowd, and it was truly magical. And I came to realize that my essay opens with, "When I go back to Europe, there's nothing there for me but museums and memorials. There's nothing like live for me. I'm envious of my friends who go back to the old country and they see, you know, they visit family, or they've been going there their whole lives and they have their familiar places. Jewish people mostly don't have that. I don't have that. All I have are memorials." That was how the essay opens. And by the end, I'm like, wow, in this visit, we've made memories here. I now have like really happy memories to return to when I come back the next time. And this idea that like enough time has passed, my kids are almost 40 years younger than I am. Hey, 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 shh. There was just a dog that went by outside. Hold on. Kira, come here. Come here. Here you go. Keep quiet. So it was this realization that the the people around us, especially my daughter's peers and all these lovely people we were meeting, they no more see themselves as perpetrators than my kids see themselves as victims. And that I was like, I will never forget what happened. I will always carry some of that with me, but also it's time to put it down. It doesn't need to actively travel with me when I am in Europe. It is history. It's an important part of history, but the present is still here. And there's a lot of wonder to find here and a lot of very kind people along the way who helped us find it. So um, it felt really good to kind of process through that as I wrote it, and sharing it now is like, tomorrow on the Daily Whatever show, Lawrence and I will be doing a show tomorrow. We, for those who might have missed me saying this earlier, we will be talking more about what it means to be Jewish in 2026, because this essay and the events of it, that they all just predate Trump 2.0. And so this is me reckoning with the past and what it meant to my Jewish identity and what it means to my kids with their limited Jewish identity. Tomorrow, Lawrence and I will be talking more about going forward and moving through the world now as a someone who is chosen with a capital C, who can't really choose to be unchosen. Like my daughters and I are all, we were Jewish enough for Hitler, right? That's the expression. So um I'm going to come back to the chat now. I think I've kind of walked through the narrative arc of this story. Later this month, I will share the actual show review of Taylor Swift, because I did write a whole review of what the show was like. It was magnificent. But I want to come over here. I love this, and I definitely want to hear tomorrow. Good, Donna. Please come back. That'll be on the Daily Whatever Show. That's at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. my time. I don't, you guys, since my kids have been on spring break, I've been an idiot because they're all reverting to their night owl ways. And I'm like, oh, is it 1 a.m.? I guess I should get to bed and stop futzing. So I'm like, it all started over the weekend when I was writing the essay for Blue Ant Media that I thought was going live tomorrow, that went live right before this show. That I'm not ready to talk about yet because I'm still processing this one. But Blue Amp posted it. I'm thrilled they posted it. It's I will be live on Friday on Blue Amp with Ellie Leonard to talk about it. But that essay, I was up so late, so many nights in a row trying to finish it. I one day maybe will be a fast essayist. That day is not today. It is simply not today. So um, that kick started the late nights, and they're just feeding in on themselves. And I think if you all are regulars, which I know a lot of you are, you may hear that I'm like slow with my words a little. They're not, the ease isn't there. That's the lack of sleep in my brain. So yay me, well, I guess. Great essay by Dana on Blue Amp. Thank you, Jason. I saw that you restacked it. I have not restacked it yet because I'm trying to keep the focus on this essay until after Lawrence and I talk tomorrow. And then I'm going to be restacking all of your comments about the Blue Amp one. It is about why the United States hates women. So a real cheery topic. It is a different kind of writing for me. There's a little bit of memoir in there, but it is mostly more journalistic, more political story. And it's a more challenging way for me to write. I'm not as accustomed to it. I'm really happy with how it came out. I honestly, I handed it off and I was like, Lawrence, Ellie, Cliff, is this any good? Like I'd sat with it for so long and I was so tired. But today, after it went live, I reread it with fresh eyes and I was like, okay, this kind of slaps. This is really good. I'm waiting to see if it jumps to the other side of the wall of Substack and I get a whole bunch of very angry, rabid men yelling at me. That hasn't happened yet, or as of an hour ago when the live started. I won't be surprised if it does. It's a pretty incendiary title, Why the United States Hates Women. It's 4 years post Roe, because we just had that anniversary last week. I nearly missed it, but it's been 4 years since Roe v. Wade went down, and they've been bad for women. They've been very bad for women. So yeah, it's funny when you're still chatting with East Coast friends at 1:30 a.m. Pacific time. Yeah, it's not great. I really hate this timeline. We should be celebrating Independence Day, and I just can't. No, I am not going to be celebrating Independence Day in the slightest. I haven't celebrated Independence Day in a long time, but especially this year. No way. Oh, don't hate me. Is Ellie? I won't hate you for jumping to Ellie's reading. Is that starting at 6 my time? I guess it is. So I should probably hop off because I want to hear Ellie as well. I'm going to put this in here one more time, and I will just do my shout out of if this story, please read it first of all. If you haven't, I would love for you to read it. I would especially love if you would like it, if you would comment on it, and most especially if you would restack it. It is one of the best ways you can support writers who you like on Substack is by restacking our work. And this is one that I would really love to have travel far and wide. So please read, like, comment, restack this essay. I would be very, very honored if you would. The other way you can support writers on this platform is becoming a paid subscriber. If you go to danaduboiswrites.substack.com, you can click the subscribe button right there, and it will take you to my subscribe page. You do not have to be a paid subscriber to read this one, but it will ensure you have access. Listen to the audio of me reading it. Thank you, Rose. I do record all of my essays myself, so you don't have to listen to AI reading them. And I choked up multiple times reading this. Like, I legit got really emotional reading my own work, which is kind of weird and kind of beautiful. So, yes, the audio is there for you. I intentionally did not put this essay behind the paywall. This is one I wanted everybody to read. So, if you would restack it far and wide, I would be so grateful. Thank you all for being here. Join us on the Daily Whatever Show tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And then join me with Ellie Leonard on Blue Amp Media on Friday. Actually, join the Daily Whatever Show Fucked Up Friday first. Friday morning, we have Iona Madrone coming on at 10 a.m. And then I forget at what time. I think it's at 1 p.m. Eastern. I will check. We'll post the link to join soon. I will be on Blue Amp Media with Ellie Leonard to talk about this essay. Lots of fun times coming up here on Substack. So would love to see you there. I love you all, mean it. Bye. Oh, I have to come over here to end it in StreamYard. Bye all.